Welcome back to the Fort Johnson podcast, where we bring you the stories, history, and people that make our community strong. I'm your host, and today we're honoring some of the bravest heroes in our nation's history as we recognize Medal of Honor Day. The Medal of Honor is the highest award for valor in combat given to those who have displayed extraordinary courage and sacrifice on the battlefield. Here at Fort Johnson, we carry their legacy forward in a unique way. Our streets are named after these heroes, ensuring their names and stories live on in our daily lives. In this episode, we'll explore the history of the Medal of Honor Day and highlight some remarkable individuals whose names grace our streets and buildings and reflect on what their sacrifices mean for us today. Stay with us as we dive into these incredible stories of valor right here on the Fort Johnson podcast. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you are watching our program or listening on a podcast somehow, I'm going to start putting them out on, just audio only so we can get them on like an iPad and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm Jeff England from the Fort Johnson Public Affairs Office, and we are in the Fort Johnson podcast studios. Today with me, I've got three gentlemen that are very important to our installation here, and we're going to start off with the most important person that I know that works over in the walk. This is Mark Leslie. How are you doing, Mark? Welcome back.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for having us. Appreciate the opportunity to talk Nation's Heroes today.
Oh, absolutely. He's the director of DPTMS, and he's been on the show before. He likes it over here. He loves coming over here and trying to run my program for me. So this is the one chance I get to tell him what to do. And alongside him, we have Eric Hayes. He is a memorial specialist with us. It's a surprise to him. I gave him a title. Hey, Eric, how you doing? Welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely wonderful to have you here. And to my right, I've got Matt West. He is the G3 Ops Chief. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm doing great.
Welcome
good to be back here.
Yep. Yeah, it's good to have you guys back, man. I'm glad to have you all back here. Nice, exciting people that I love it when people show enthusiasm to be on my show. It keeps me employed. So, Matt, what we got going on? I know March is March. What is it? 25th? Or?
Right. So today's subject, we're talking about Medal of Honor Day. So celebrated on 25 March every year, is established in 1990 by Congress through a resolution to foster public appreciation and recognition for Medal of Honor recipients. You know, the nation's real heroes.
Yes, absolutely.
So as you mentioned earlier, so it's awarded through conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of life above and beyond the call of duty. So that leaves a lot of interpretation for those that are writing the individual up, right? And so we talked about this a couple of years ago when we did this podcast, what really determines a Medal of Honor. And as we scoured through and went through doing this process, the 10 streets, and as Matt and Eric will talk later, if you read these write-ups, and the write-ups never do real justice, even though the write-ups are incredible.
Yeah, some of those stories are just crazy.
Yeah, they're amazing. And the two individuals they'll talk about today, if you were there, you would know that the write-up doesn't even come close. It's like reading the book and then watching the movie, right? But it's amazing. Some of the couple of things about the Medal of Honor. So over 40 million people have served in the U.S. Armed Forces. Out of that, since this country has been around 250 years now, only 3,547 have earned the Medal of Honor. So I'm not going to do public math, but the percentage on that is pretty low. I think Matt did it a couple of years ago and is a pretty low percentage.
Yeah, I think it's like less than 1%.
It is. Yeah. So there have been 19 double recipients. So if you want to put the
somebody is so awesome that they got 2 Medal of Honors.
19 of them.
19 of them.
19 of them.
19 people, not 19 Medal of Honor. No,
yeah, 19 people got the Medal of Honor.
That's just crazy.
That's pretty amazing.
They're not paying for any drinks.
No,
ever
I wouldn't
in their life. The first Medal of Honors were awarded on 25 March 1863 for the 6 surviving members of Andrews Raiders. And they were a group of Union soldiers who stole the train and destroyed railroad tracks and bridges between Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Atlanta. It was known as the Great Locomotive Chase, and so it's kind of close to home for me. I'm from around the Chattanooga area. And he presented them in his office as the Secretary of War at the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was a pretty low-key ceremony. There's 61 living recipients. In January 2025, President Biden awarded 9 more Medal of Honors. Richard E. Cavazos, Charles Johnson, Fred McGee, Wataru Nakamura, Bruno Orig, Kenneth David, and Hugh Nelson from the Korean and Vietnam Wars. Only one of
those are the most recent?
The most recent. And then the Army awarded 2 more after that to William Simon Harris and James W. McIntyre for actions during the Philippine insurrection. And what's interesting about those 2 is that they were actually approved by President Teddy Roosevelt. They were just never awarded.
Oh, that's odd.
Yeah, so in 1899. So they were actually awarded, and so that's pretty fantastic award that they finally got awarded.
The whole thing behind the Medal of Honor is just, it's amazing what they have to go through just to be approved for to receive one. I mean, the narrations on what they've done are so long. It's like a whole book on what they've done because it's so extraordinarily heroic is all I can say. I mean, and the only things that I've heard is back in the Civil War, there weren't many different medals to give out, so they gave out medals of honor, and now they've gone back and didn't they go back and revamp those medals?
Well, that was, many, many years ago. They realized that they wanted the Medal of Honor to be the highest award that could be bestowed upon a service member, and again, for going above and beyond the call of duty. And so realizing that, again, as you stated, there wasn't very many types of medals, and so they started increasing those, where you have the Army Achievement Medals and
the silver medal and the bronze
stars and bronze stars and so forth. And so they went back and they did revoke some.
It's kind of sad that they got revoked, but still, it makes the medal, more appropriate, prestigious. Yeah, there's a word. It's my word of the day. I got to get a calendar for that thing.
Trivia question for you. So who's the only president to have the Medal of Honor?
George Washington. No? Oh.
No.
Wait. Teddy Roosevelt.
Yes. Teddy Roosevelt.
I got one right.
One of my favorite presidents. Last year, or year before last, we really focused on Sergeant Henry Johnson, our namesake for the installation.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because he's a Medal of Honor recipient.
He's a bad guy. Yeah. He's awesome.
Pretty tough soldier. And then last year, we redesignated 10 streets that we have. They were already named in honor of Medal of Honor recipients, but we went back and emblazoned the Medal of Honor on those streets, so the residents living on those streets would know that street is named after a Medal of Honor recipient, and all 10 of those streets are named after Medal of Honor recipients from the state of Louisiana or accredited to the state of Louisiana.
Yeah, that's what that's always been one of my biggest things. I mean, I believe Sergeant Johnson is very honorable and very awesome to be named or to have our installation. I'm very proud to have him or have our installation named after him. But he was from New York, and it's like, okay, well, but we got the streets named after those from Louisiana. So we're still honoring the Louisianans.
There's no shortage of heroes in the Army.
Oh, no.
So we got plenty of them.
That's kind of like there's no atheists in a foxhole.
That's right.
So this year, we're going to focus on 2 Medal of Honor recipients that are honored on this installation already in heavily trafficked areas, and I think the soldiers and community may not be aware of. We're going to focus on PFC Leslie Bell Richard. If you live or work in Fort Johnson, you likely drive on this road every day. And Eric will talk more about PFC Bell Richard's actions, but I can tell you he defined sacrifice.
He was a PFC?
And fought like a tiger.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's from the 4th Infantry Division. It's kind of sad we couldn't do it when one of our former commanding generals was here since he took over the 4th Infantry Division, but it'll be nice. He's not a native of Louisiana, and why this road was named after him is likely lost to history, but if I was a betting man, which I am, I would probably say that at the time that road was constructed, somebody that served with him in that unit probably served with him in Vietnam. And they were probably stationed here, and that's probably why that road was named after him.
Yeah, there were a lot of heroes in Vietnam.
And then we're proud to have that road here. And then second is likely the most traffic building on the installation, and it's the installation headquarters, building 350, or more properly, Woodfield Hall. And I'll let Sergeant Major West cover the details on that. But we should be honored to have his name grace our post headquarters. He was one of the most celebrated American soldiers of the 20th century, and General John Pershing called him the greatest single hero in American forces in World War I. He's also a pallbearer for the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. And he was truly a remarkable leader and humble, very humble guy. Am I stealing all your thunder? You got plenty more.
Absolutely, you are stealing my thunder.
So I'll stop talking. I'll let Eric talk about PFC Belle Richard.
Yeah, what's up with that? Belle Richard, the main street that goes down by ACS and goes through housing, and right next to, or right across from the hobby shop, and all the way down to, I believe that's the engineers, the engineer units, and movie theater, and well, it used to be a movie theater, but Belle Richard, not Richard. Stacy. It's not Richard, it's Richard. Okay. Anyway.
So this year, Fort Johnson is going to honor him by putting the medal on the emblem on his street signs. And Belle Richard is one word, not two words. We found that out, so we're going to fix that.
Surprise.
Yeah. And, so we'll be doing that unveiling on 18 March at 1330 between Mississippi and Belle Richard. All right, so more than welcome to come if you want to.
Nice.
Somebody from PAO.
Somebody will be there.
Yeah, so, some of his most notable things was, he was in, I guess, in the midst of fighting, and he was getting ready to throw a grenade, and a mortar round went off near his area, and it impacted him and threw him back, so he dropped the grenade, and he noticed enemy danger. So he threw himself on a grenade to protect his buddies.
That is like literally the image that people get when they think of things like this, is they throw themselves on a grenade. That's crazy.
So, yeah, he was 25 years old when he died, and his wife received his Medal of Honor, and it was given by President Nixon at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
I mean, it's just... one of the big things that I've known, it's like oh man, if I could earn the Medal of Honor, that'd be awesome. Then I realized how many of these medals are given
posthumously.
Posthumously. It's like, oh no, maybe not. I'll be happy with my achievement medal.
PFC Belle Richard was in 1/8 Infantry and 4th Infantry Division, and that defines self-sacrifice.
It does.
He didn't plan going out that day doing that. It was his training and his care for his fellow soldier that made him do that.
Yeah, that's crazy. And we've got Matt.
Yeah.
What's up?
I'm still here.
You have one too?
I do.
I got to see
good?
one. Well, I talked to you about, Mr. Leslie mentioned that we also had 10 street renames. So, one that stood out for me was Sergeant Emmanuel Stantz. So we named, and I believe it's in the Palmetto Housing, E. Stantz Loop after him.
E. Stantz Loop. That Emmanuel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gotcha.
So, and notably about him was that he had got his Medal of Honor like post-Civil War.
Oh, wow.
Yep. He was also African-American, born into slavery, enlisted into the military, and became a national hero.
Nice. Just like Sergeant Johnson.
Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. So, does he already have the Medal of Honor on the street sign?
Yeah, that's one of the street signs that they added the Medal of Honor to.
Nice. And are we going to be doing that to more of them, or do they all have them on there right now?
They will all have it on there now, once we get Belle Richard on.
So that's the last one?
Yep.
Nice. This is some honorable stuff.
It is.
It is.
Now, are you good?
I'm good.
All right, man. Well, I just want to steal your thunder.
Good, good, man.
Stealing
said a lot. So.
Stealing thunder is for Mark.
For Mark.
Yeah, he's the one.
Hey, each day, hundreds of soldiers and civilians enter the Joint Readiness Training Center and Fort Johnson Headquarters Building, formerly known as Building 350. So if you've worked here for any couple of years, where do you work? 350. 350, That's what people would say. Many of those same people would be hard-pressed to tell you the proper name of that structure and who it shares in the background for its namesake.
I know it.
That headquarters building on Fort Polk and now Fort Richardson is named in honor of Sam Woodville, who served in the 5th Infantry Division, which was stationed here previously, and had displayed the character embodiment that is tested and trained at the Joint Readiness Training Center during our rotations. Sam Woodville lived from 1883 to 1951, was a major in the United States Army, and was a veteran of the Philippine-American War, World War I, and World War II. Woodville was one of the most celebrated of American soldiers in the 20th century, as Mark had stated earlier. General John Pershing, Blackjack, called Woodville the most outstanding soldier of World War I.
The most outstanding.
And you have to be pretty good to be called the most outstanding soldier of an entire world war, and that was him. During an offensive on October 8, 1918, he single-handedly neutralized 3 German machine gun emplacements while suffering under attack of mustard gas, and was able to successfully lead his men safely back to the American lines without casualty. Woodville was considered to be one of the most decorated soldiers of World War I and received his Medal of Honor, which General Pershing personally presented on 9 February 1919. He received the French Légion d'honneur in the degree of Chevalier and the French Croix de Guerre, which is the highest French award that could be given, with bronze palm, the Montenegrin Order of Prince Danilo in the Order of Degree of Knight, among other awards. So legendary was Woodville's renown that almost 11 years after the war ended, a Polish Army delegation presented him 2 more medals. The presentation occurred during the 11th Annual National Convention of the American Legion, held in Louisville, Kentucky, 30 September to 3 October of 1929.
You know how heavy his uniform must be?
Yeah.
And the last thing, and this is great, Mark had kind of brought it up, but after returning home at the end of the war, Woodville took on a number of different jobs, finally settling down being an insurance salesman. He was among 3 soldiers that were chosen to dedicate the Tomb of the Unknowns in 1921, joining fellow Medal of Honor recipients Charles Whittlesley and Alvin York. Sergeant York fame. So at the outbreak of World War II, he got recalled and came back in as a major, but due to his previous injuries and so forth, they left him here in stateside to do training and prepare people for combat before he ended up retiring to be a farmer in Vevey, Indiana, where he lived until he died. And he's buried at Arlington National Cemetery. So every day when you enter Building 350 here in Fort Johnson, and you see it says Woodville Hall, and we are dedicating a plaque that's going to be put on the front of the building now. What day is that, Mark? Do you remember?
25th.
On the 25th. So I'll turn that over to Mark.
Yeah, that'd be Medal of Honor Day.
Well, I didn't know what day they were putting the actual plaque up. So
It's the 25th.
I heard.
I'm here for you.
Thank you. Back to you, Mark.
Yeah, great. It was. He has a good summary of Major Woodville's and PFC Bell Richard's actions that earned them our nation's highest honor. So we always get, why we make a big deal of Medal of Honor Day on Fort Johnson. You know, we could just post a few, ask PO to post a few social media posts and be done with it. But really, that's part of our job to maintain the Army's legacy and keep the heroes alive.
It really is.
Ways to honor Medal of Honor heroes on 25 March, Medal of Honor Day. You can fly your flag, send a thank you card to Medal of Honor recipients, or tell the story of a Medal of Honor recipient at your public library, which we are going to do on 21 March at 1100, which is when? This Friday.
It is, this Friday.
This Friday, right? So our garrison commander and yours truly will be at the library reading to some kids. And our library is named after another hero, First Sergeant Allen. Look that up sometime. That story's at the library itself. You can adopt a gravesite for a Medal of Honor recipient. We have one close by. Up in Kinder, near Coshada, is named after First Lieutenant Douglas Fournay, a Medal of Honor recipient from the Vietnam War. There's also a statue of him down in Lake Charles. If you live on one of those 10 streets in the housing areas, they're easy to identify. They have a Medal of Honor recipient on them. But you go to the PAO Fort Johnson website and learn about that hero. You guys have the write-ups posted. You did a great job of posting those, Jeff. I really appreciate it. But they can look up and tell their family, hey, this is what that street means. If you live here on Fort Johnson for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and you live in one of those streets and you don't look up why that street's named after the individual, you're doing yourself and your family injustice. Do something in your local schools. Go to the CMOH, Congressional Medal of Honor Society website, and there's some great tools. They even have training packets for grade levels of all schools, and that website is cmohs.org. That's the website. You can also visit the main PX. They'll have the Louisiana Medal of Honor display 22 to 28 March in the main atrium there. And then, as Eric and Matt talked about earlier, we've got the Belle Richard street sign unveiling on 18 March at 1330 at the Mississippi and Belle Richard intersection. We'll be unveiling that last street sign named after Belle Richard. And
now Mississippi, that's not the one. That's not the one ways. That's the is that the one by the movie theater?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool.
That's your main avenue for all your units are on Mississippi.
Yeah, it makes sense now.
I'll be talking on the radio, Eric and I, on, you didn't know that, on
Surprise.
24 March on our two local radio stations, KJE and KVVP, on 24 March at 11:30 and 12:30, talking about Medal of Honor Day. We've got the major Woodfill plaque unveiling, which will be on the inside of Woodfill Hall at 1300 on 25 March on Medal of Honor Day. The CG and the Garrison Commander will be doing that. I'll say a few words.
So they have a plaque on the outside explaining or giving a description?
No.
I saw something on the outside.
They've got a small bronze plaque on the outside on the left-hand side when you walk in the building. It says dedicated in honor of Major Woodfill. But on the inside now, Eric designed a great plaque that we're going to have unveiled. It's a bronze plaque. It'll have his Medal of Honor citation and his picture. So when you go to badge in, you're going to be forced to look at that plaque. So you'll understand why that building's named after him.
Nice.
And then the Medal of Honor Museum in Arlington, Texas, is doing their grand opening on 25 March also. And they've got a great website, mohmuseum.org. You can check that out. And that's not a very far drive from us. It's going to be fantastic.
This has been a 18-year process to get this place opened, and so I've been following this, like I said, really for about the last 22 years. I have friends in Texas. I'm originally from the Dallas area, and so when they discussed it to get this thing started, the funding, the fight that they were having, and so forth. But I'm so happy to hear that it's going to be opening.
Yeah, I've been following it for a long time. I've been having some dialogue and correspondence with them, and they're grateful for our support of the Medal of Honor recipients. And so, yeah, I really look forward to that. I'm going to make a visit out there. Obviously not on 25 March, but I'm going to get out there. It's one of my bucket list. And then you can visit all of our, you can learn all about the Medal of Honor recipients from the state of Louisiana and those 10 streets on Fort Johnson on our website. And then the Congressional Medal of Honor website I already mentioned. And then the Army has its own Medal of Honor website. Army.mil/Medal of Honor has all the Army Medal of Honor recipients on it.
That's a lot. Yep. The one I know, the lowest ranking one in the Air Force, I know that one because they've got an award named after him, the John Levittow Award, but he was pretty bad. Yeah.
Pretty good dude.
Agree.
Great American.
Great American. They all are. That's great. And so we've got the Medal of Honor Day and that's when most of the stuff's going to be happening. Or we got some good stuff happening on the 25th.
The culminating event will be the unveiling of the Woodfill Hall plaque.
And everyone's invited to come over and stand outside the building because the lobby's not big enough to hold.
The lobby's only so big. Yeah. But they'll see it when they come and to try to badge in the building. They'll be forced to see the plaque and honor Major Woodfill. And
if they have to wait for a badge, they'll have time to read it.
That's right.
Stuff like that.
Yeah,
or they can wait for someone to open the door for them.
But we really encourage everybody, that's in the service to look up these heroes and use some of those resources we provided and understand what the word hero means. And these guys define a hero. You know, the word hero, courage are often abused, I think, nowadays. And often used a little bit too freely, right?
Yeah.
And so these guys, these men define courage in the word hero.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Yeah. The story I know the best is Johnson, and that is truly remarkable. I mean, Gen X uses the word awesome a lot overly, but he truly is the definition of what awesome really means. You look at what he did and you're just in awe of everything that he did. I mean, that was a whole bunch of Germans in World War I, and to wait that long to receive it, it's like amazing. And now we got Belle Richard coming up with this one, going to be honored, and Woodfill Hall. And Allen. Now, I was going to call him Allen Woodfill. No, it's Woodfill Allen. Yeah, so we've got buildings and streets named after Medal of Honor recipients, and it's just how long have we had these names? Have these names, the streets, been named this for a while, or for like ever?
Yeah, the streets, since they were designed, they were originally named these names, and I'm sure they went through the memorialization process, AR-1-33, which is our memorialization program, and they get approved, and they were named after that. They just didn't put the Medal of Honor on, so it's kind of lost to history. We wanted to remind people that, hey, it's not just named after some random person.
Yeah, so, there's so many things. It's like, okay, it's just a name. You call it that, and it just becomes normal. It's what's behind it. Why is it called that? I've always, well, not always, but every once in a while, I'll sit there and it's like, why is this called this? And it's like, or Woodfill. Actually, when 350 started getting called Woodfill Hall, it's like, you will call it Woodfill Hall. It's like, why? And now I know why. And knowing's half the battle.
So that's one of the things Eric does. One of the many tasks I give Eric, he runs that program, the Army Memorialization Program for Fort Johnson. And so, we renamed what used to be Radio Road up by the chapel, Main Post Chapel, to Stant Street after one of our, not Stant Street.
No, it's Stanton.
Stanton. You got me stuck on Stance. The Stanton Street after one of our former chaplains.
Yes.
And all his contributions to the community and the installation.
Yes, he used to own KVVP and KROK and KUMX.
So this year, one of our targets is to rename the Sergeant Major housing area, which right now is called Fairway Drive, I think. That's our target for this year, is rename them in honor of a Sergeant Major that contributed considerably to this community. So that's our next target for the Fort Johnson 133 Memorialization Program.
We can call it West Matt Drive.
No, he said contributed to
and they have to be deceased to do that. So that's one of our next targets.
Gotcha. So are there any other programs that are going to memorialize? Because I remember going to a pinning ceremony for a Silver Star, which is like the second, or it's up there for everyone out there. There's medals that are given out are earned in the military, and Silver Star is pretty high up there. Do we have anything for Silver Star, or are we strictly trying to memorialize Medal of Honor?
We're just doing Medal of Honor Day.
Gotcha.
And we'll do the CG. Will do some nice things on Purple Heart Day, which is 7 August.
Oh, and Purple Hearts, yes.
I always talk to you on Purple Heart Day, or I go to the radio or something on Purple Heart Day. But
yeah.
And
don't forget when you're on the radio to promote your show, your podcast.
Oh yeah, I will,
because you're on it.
Yeah, I will.
That was pretty slick.
You like that?
Yeah.
You like that?
I'll promote the podcast.
It's called cross posting, cross advertising.
And we will share this because this is a fourth. PFC Belle Richard is from 4th Infantry Division. You guys will coordinate with 4th Infantry Division for this sign.
Fort Carson, send it to them.
Fort Carson. So.
If somebody needs somebody to go to Fort Carson for a little while, and I can help.
It can all be done.
I don't have a problem going to Fort Carson for a little while.
Teams. It can all be done teams, Jeff.
I want to go. I want to go to Colorado. Okay. Or is there anything in Vegas that you guys need help with?
Yeah. You were Air Force, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, Mark, Eric, Matt, I appreciate all of you guys coming in and speaking with us today about the Medal of Honor Day on March 25th. March 25th. Remember that we're going to memorialize Woodfill Hall, Building 350 over there by the Warrior Center, and what street is that called? It's
Core Road.
Core Road, that's right, Core Road. And we'll be doing Belle Richard on
18 March.
18 March.
And the library book reading on 21 March.
Well, yeah,
21
this will be coming out after the 21st of February. So, because the secret's out, we pre-record these because they don't want me doing this live. They're afraid of what I'm going to say.
Gee, I wonder.
Guys, I appreciate you guys coming in, and please come back very soon, and we'll be able to do this again.
Thanks.
And thanks for joining us. Please, if you have anything to say, leave it in a comment down below, somewhere in there. And also be sure to subscribe and hit that notification button. And we'll be seeing and watching and listening at you again later. Nice talking to you. Bye.
That was easy.